Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 Thursday Night Football postgame show. And Trailing Seattle in the fourth quarter, Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys knew there was no way they could extend their NFL record for 5 consecutive 20-point wins at home to start the season. They kept alive the bigger streak at AT&T Stadium. Prescott threw 3 touchdown passes, and the Cowboys won their 14th consecutive home game, rallying to beat the Seahawks 41-35 on Thursday night. Prescott's 12-yard pass to Jake Ferguson put Dallas in front with 4.5 minutes remaining, and as the Cowboys, who are now 9-3, set up a rematch with NFC East rival Philadelphia by escaping with a fourth consecutive victory since falling to the Eagles 28-23 to start November. I told the team after the game, we need games like this, Coach Mike McCarthy said, to get where you want to go. You have to win these kind of games. Geno Smith threw 3 touchdown passes to DK Metcalf, including a 73-yarder as the Seahawks, who are now 6-6 on the season, got their offense going, but Seattle couldn't avoid a third consecutive loss to drop to 500 for the first time since splitting its first 2 games of the season. There's no concession to losing, but we will definitely build on this, Coach Pete Carroll said. The story is not told what's going to happen. Dallas Brandon Aubrey kicked 4 field goals to extend the 28-year-old rookie's NFL record to 26 consecutive makes to start a career. Neither team punted the 5th time in NFL history. That's happened, but the Dallas defense, ranked 3rd in the league coming in, got 4th down stops on the Seahawks' final 3 possessions, and Dayron Bland made his NFL leading 8th interception late in the third quarter after he was burned 3 times earlier in the game. The Cowboys kept alive their best home winning streak since an 18-game run at Old Texas Stadium from 1979 to 1981. Dallas trailed 35-30 when Zach Charbonnet, Charbonnet, was stopped on 4th and 1 near midfield. 7 plays later, Ferguson scored, and Prescott and Brendan Cooks for the 2-point conversion. Cooks also had a TD catch in the second quarter. CeeDee Lamb had the other touchdown catch while finishing with 12 catches for 116 yards, and his 24-yard run on a jet sweep helped set up Aubrey's final field goal to put Dallas ahead by 6. That came after Smith threw incomplete on 4th down near midfield with 3:11 to go. Dallas had a double-digit lead entering the fourth quarter in each of the first 5 breezy home victories. This time, it trailed for the first 25-plus minutes after halftime, but beating a team with a winning record for the first time this season. This was a big one to get, Prescott said. The first one with a winning record, but more importantly, in the fashion that we did. Tough game down at halftime. Down in the fourth quarter, the guys and the team just kept making plays when plays were needed. The Seahawks reached midfield with 1:11 left, but Micah Parsons pressure on 4th down forced Smith to throw the ball into the ground, sealing the victory. Metcalf had a season-high 134 yards on 6 catches in his second career 3-touchdown game, as the Seahawks scored touchdowns on 5 of their first 7 drives after coming in with 20 consecutive possessions without an offensive TD. Smith also ran for a score while throwing for 334 yards with an interception. Seattle's stretch uh, without an offensive TD ended on its third play and longest on offense this season when Metcalf beat Bland uh, a week uh, after the Dallas cornerback, set an NFL record with his fifth interception return for a touchdown this season. And Land cut in front of Metcalf, cut in front of Metcalf to try to break up the start as safety Donovan Wilson closed in on leaving Metcalf free up the middle of the field to reach 20 to 23 miles, the fastest for a ball carrier since early in the 2020 season, on the way to a 7-3 lead and the Cowboys' first deficit at home this season. Jackson Smith Najiba set up two touchdowns by drawing pass interference penalties in the end zone. On the second, officials ruled Smith Najiba made a 30-yard TD catch over Bland, but the call on Smith Najiba's catch was overturned on a review. With 7 seconds remaining before halftime and no timeout, Smith threw a 1-yard scoring pass before officials said Dallas had called timeout, and then threw a 1-yarder to Metcalf that counted. That gave the Seahawks a 21-20 lead at the break. Seattle scored again to start the second half on Smith's 5-yard run, but the Cowboys answered with Tony Pollard's 6-yard score as the teams combined for 58 first downs, 33 for Dallas, 25 for Seattle, by converting on 17 of 28 third downs, 9 of 14 for the Seahawks, 8 of 14 for the Cowboys. I thought we played a tough 4 quarters, going back and forth. Seattle safety Julian Love didn't finish it. Now the Seahawks, we know, are battling injuries. Linebacker Jordan Brooks was injured on an ankle and didn't return, and running back Kenneth Walker III missed his second consecutive game with a weekend injury, and he was inactive for that game. And up next, both teams get a mini break after consecutive Thursday games, and both have rematches. December 10th, with division-leading rivals, Seattle visits San Francisco in just the second game since the Niners solidified their NFC West lead with a 31-13 victory at the Seahawks. And Dallas has a rematch with the Philadelphia Eagles. Comes a month after the Eagles took control of the NFC East. So I got to give credit to where credit is due, and Dallas really they were down, but they kept battling back, and they were able to, after halftime, to really battle back, get the lead, and come away with the victory. Seattle had a lead, but they could not hold on to it, but they kept battling back as well. But Dallas got the win, so Dallas gets the game balls. The Cowboys got Dak Prescott, 29 of 41, carries and attempts, 299 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tony Pollard, 20 attempts, 68 yards, 1 touchdown. And CeeDee Lamb, 12 receptions, 118 yards, 1 touchdown. But this was one of those games where one team started out with the lead and had it at halftime, but the home team battled back, and Dallas was able to continue their home winning streak and get a big win over Seattle. And I agree with Mike McCarthy. Those are the kind of games you have to win. Those kind of big games. So I really agree with him wholeheartedly. We have a bunch of games tomorrow on Sunday. And in the early games, the Los Angeles Chargers will win Foxborough at Gillette Stadium and take on New England, take on the Patriots. The Detroit Lions are in New Orleans at Mercedes-Benz Superdome to take on the Saints. Atlanta is at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, to take on the New York Jets. The Arizona Cardinals are at Asker Stadium in Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. The Indianapolis Colts are in Nashville, Tennessee, to take on the Titans at Nissan Stadium. Miami is in Washington to take on the Commanders at FedEx Field. And rounding out the early games, the Denver Broncos are at NRG Stadium in Houston to take on the Houston Texans. In the late games, the late afternoon games, the Carolina Panthers are at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay to take on uh, Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The San Francisco 49ers are in Philadelphia at Lincoln Financial Field to take on the Eagles. And Cleveland, the Browns are in Los Angeles, which they've been practicing there all week. And they are in Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, to take on the Rams. And Sunday Night Football. The Kansas City Chiefs are at legendary Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin, to take on the Green Bay Packers. And Monday Night Football, the Cincinnati Bengals are in Jacksonville at TIA Bank Field to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll have a great action for you tomorrow and on Monday. And Baltimore, Buffalo, Chicago, Las Vegas, the Minnesota Vikings and the New York Giants are all on bye weeks. And once again, the Dallas Cowboys, they battle back and get a big game, big time win over Seattle, 41-35. And well, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101 Thursday Night Football post-game show. I'll be back with the Scott Sports 101 Browns NFL Week 13 early games pregame show and everything else to follow. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.